Happy Halloween, my dear viewers. Oh, and Cindy Huang, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and letting your kids watch some of my videos, especially the one of the sentence. That was pretty cool. Today on Halloween, I'm here to talk about a very scintillating yet terrifying topic. Newborn cuties. Newborn Cuties is a very short-lived series of 2 G3.5 MLP shorts with only 4 or 5 different voice actors, 3 who were in both of them, who all sound the same, even though they're all different names. They were so many different ways to play in Over Two Rainbows. And, it was on his last legs the year before French's Magic, because, they got critically panned for having such very lazy animation and storytelling. It only helped a little that they made a new version with lip syncing. So, I'm glad they at least weren't too cheap for that eventually. But yeah, it's a good thing Lauren Faust came in when she did, because she was the last hope for the My Little Pony brand in 2009 and 2010. The G3.5 shorts, they were worse than any of the G3 videos that came before them. That's really saying a lot of them. Yeah. Fortunately, Tabitha St. Germain at least seems to find Minty salvageable, since she told me at the 2018 BronyCon that she would have liked to voice Minty in French's Magic if she got to have any speaking parts in that G4 series. And we both agreed very much that we would like it if Minty got to meet Rarity. And Rarity likes Minty's taste in the songs. Now, during or shortly before the same year that Cuties came out, a pair of 5 French girls were born who later go on to become the stars of a very inappropriate French movie on Netflix called Cuties. Yeah, I don't really know the names of any of the Newborn Cuties voice actors, since this is filmed in Rhode Island, except for Gigi Abraham, whom I only recognize because she was also in the VeggieTales Tales, St. Nicholas' Story of Joyful Giving, and Celery Night Fever. And I'd like to give Gigi Abraham a few better voice roles overall like that, since she's just seems to be the only recognizable, the most recognizable name of person out of all 5 people who were in Newborn Cuties. But that's beside the point. Yeah, when Newborn Cuties was made, the stars of Cuties were also Newborn Cuties in real life. And Cuties is a very bad film that, even though it's in French, Cuties quickly got a lot of hatred over here in the United States because it's a disgusting movie. It's a disgusting R-rated movie that sexualizes young children. Maimouna Doucoure said she was going to to criticize. It was supposed to criticize the sexualization of minors, which it eventually did at the end when Amy learned her lesson, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't good enough for anyone who spoke English. For in any countries, English that I know of. Oh yeah, by the way, if you want to read this video in the language of Cuties, click on the closed caption settings below this video to select Francais. if you want to read the French words for what I'm saying here. Yeah, that's the horrid thing about Cuties. And I do not condone or defend Cuties at all. I'm just here to give my new take on it for what Maimouna Doucoure should have done to make Cuties a tolerable and acceptable film. For starters, if she wanted to showcase the problems of sexualizing kids and having them twerk without normalizing it unintentionally, well, for starters, there should have been a lot less twerking in it, and it already should have showed, the movie should have made a much bigger effort to show and or tell us why it's bad for young girls to twerk before Amy quit the dance contest at the last minute. The real reason why people think Cuties normalized twerking is because the main girls themselves were doing the twerking. I mean, I know that Angelica and the rest of the girls were a terrible influence on Amy. They were the wrong type of crowd for her to follow, and you can still keep them that way in a new draft, but without having them normalizing sexual dance moves. Cuties would have gotten its intended message across much better if, say there was another antagonist. If there was an outside antagonist, like, say, if Angelica had a stage mom who wanted them to incorporate sexual elements into their dance moves because sex sells, but the girls didn't want to do that because they didn't want to be exploiting themselves, much like the other girls that Maimouna Doucoure met when she was a kid or when she was doing her own research for Cuties, then it would have been a much better way to frame the story to show us that to already go against normalizing the sexualization of minors from the start. And don't have them do any other inappropriate things, like when Amy took a picture of her private parts and even the other four, and crossed the line, the other four girls would never cross that. That was really bad. And having Amy and Amy shoving Yasmin into water, that was also very nasty. Yeah, there's a lot of things in Cuties that it shouldn't have had. Because, and this should be obvious to everybody who's not a pervert, but you can't sexualize minors in a movie that's supposed to be about critiquing the sexualization of minors. Cuties would have gotten a lot less backlash if it only had like one scene of twerking instead of 4, and it didn't focus so much on the girls' butts. If it didn't do that, then the movie wouldn't have been attacking the very message it was trying to deliver. And let me be clear, I'm not exactly against these types of movies about kids getting into adult situations, because it was pretty funny in the Florida Project and Good Boys, despite the risk that all these films run for having child actors star in a movie that they're clearly too young to watch at the time. But the reason why those other two movies are more acceptable than Cuties is because they don't constantly have them doing inappropriate dance moves, inappropriate dance numbers. Ugh. And I don't think movies and TV shows should ban having child actors altogether, but we definitely need new rules and new guidelines in place of how to properly treat child actors and without mistreating them or being too controlling of them. And I know a good example of this was with Zack and Cody. There's a deep dive episode 45-minute video on this with the Dark Side of Disney channel, but unfortunately, Dylan Sprouse and Cole Sprouse were very smart twins, very smart child stars who wouldn't let the platypus of Disney Channel control them as much as they wanted to. And the other reason why I decided to talk about Zack and Cody, even though I've never seen any episodes of it before today, is because there was this really strange joke in the Family Episode Ratings Guide regarding Herbert the Pervert, which I know is a character that we're all supposed to hate because he's a pervert, and we know what he's doing is wrong, and that's makes it funny when he says or does things that with that subtext of his perverseness. He taped together the Nielsen boxes that Adam West previously shot, and then called somebody to say, "I think Zack and Cody would be fun if they did the show in underpants." And I looked into that kind of stuff, and it turns out that The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody actually does have some jokes of Zack and Cody in their underpants, but Zack and Cody isn't funnier when they're doing a show in their underpants just because they're in their underpants. The reason why seeing Zack and Cody in their underpants was funny then was because, before Ratings Guy, was because it's an embarrassing and not normal thing for them to be in their underpants. And if they were in their underpants all the time, then like Herbert wanted, then that would remove the reason why seeing them in their underpants was funny in the first place. And given what we know now about how child stars like Alison Stoner and Zendaya get abused, it's unlikely that any sane, humane person who was working on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody back in 2005 through 2011 would ever allow any of those embarrassing underpants jokes to pass if they made The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody now after 2017. So, whatever you do, keep your children safe from strangers. Make sure they only trick or treat at the houses of people you and they can trust. And have a safe and happy Halloween.